Welcome to Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul, your home for self-defense and self-preservation since 2016. The date is November 15th, 2016, and you're listening to the episode. Are you ready for the title, Dimitri?
Oh, lay it on me.
Trumping gun rights.
Oh, nice!
That is the title of the show. We welcome
That was a pleasant surprise.
Wasn't it? We welcome our live listeners on Spreaker.com, as well as our syndicated provider, IPMNation.com.
New Shooting Self-Defense presents A State of Wake Joint. Grab your beer, your ammo, and your Clipozine Glockomatic as we take you through a full auto hour of fast, funny, deadly, serious talk about guns. If you cry when someone draws a picture of a gun on a piece of paper in front of you, you best stay away because you are about to enter a gun-filled zone. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul.
That's right. I'm Paul, and this is Dimitri. I'm not going to let him speak right now, because I'm going to try and get through this intro for a change. And together we are New Shooting Self-Defense's Full Auto. On this show, we cover news about ammo supplies on defense assault in the segment, The Gun Truth About Trump. And in Happy Ending, we cover a story about a concealed carrier in the right place at the right time, and even cops need saved. And Dimitri, say hello to the crowd. Just a quick hello. Don't say anything else. Just hello. Go ahead. Go ahead. You know what? Don't say hello. You know what? I don't care. There, he said hello. We may or may not get. Go ahead. What? Yes, we may or may not get to Happy Ending, but we're going to give it the old college try. Oh, no. Oh, man. First off, I had you muted for the first part of the show.
Oh, that's lovely.
Well, I mean, people don't even notice these things. They're like, hey, Paul, it was great. It was great what you did without Dimitri. Who is that guy exactly anyway? So, yeah, I kind of switched things around. So let's try to play the real introduction here. Anytime now, any day now. We're trying something. Dimitri, are you ready to hear this? We're trying something new. All right, I think we got it. I think we got it now. Let's get you prepared to enter a gun-filled zone.
I got my gangster guy here, yo. What up, cuz? Break yourself, break yourself, break yourself. Cuz
this is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
We have federal regulations and state laws that prohibit hunting ducks with more than 3 ranges, and yet it's legal to hunt humans.
say hello to my little friend.
Australia just said, well, that's it. We're not saying that again, and imposed very severe, tough gun laws, and they haven't had a mass shooting since.
You know, semi-automatic weapons are not just about gun control. This is about national security. You know that these weapons can shoot down airplanes.
Break yourself! Break yourself! Break yourself!
The big difference between an assault rifle and a hunting rifle is, frankly, the scope that one puts on it, and scopes can be purchased online.
So if you
see people disarmed. I want people disarmed in our major cities. How's that for a plan?
We cannot let a minority of people hold a viewpoint that terrorizes the majority of people.
Could it be done on spur of the moment with a hunting rifle? Very easily, as long as it was a double-shot weapon, they can easily do it with something that you can purchase at a grocery store.
Say hello to my little friend!
The Second Amendment is in the Constitution so that we can have muskets when the British people come over in 1800.
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Hurt yourself! Cuz.
All right, welcome back to Full Auto. New shooting self-defenses Full Auto featuring... Who are we featuring?
Dimitri.
Just Dimitri.
Well, you suck. You had me muted the whole first intro thingy-dingy that we did.
All you said was, hello. That's it. I say
Yeah, no, I gave the speech of the century. And you,
well, for
and
you,
you knew
saying
that would.
hello is the speech of the century.
It is.
Bro,
When my fans hear me say hello, they know what I mean.
They gather around. He's gonna say it. Say it again. Say hello. And then you're like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna say hello." And then you said hello. So, what do you think of? Tell me what you like about the title of the show.
Irony. So many things.
It's
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. This is your show. Go ahead.
You suck. On so many levels, you suck.
I do. I know.
Well, I think it's a surprise to everyone as to who the next president's going to be. It's been exactly a week since we've heard the good word.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch
is dead. The witch is dead.
You know, I'm gonna have to change. Go ahead.
Ding dong.
I'm gonna have to change the intro. I'm gonna have to put the Donald Trump thing, which we'll play in a little bit here. So this is going to be a big, long, juicy defense assault segment. We will try to get to happy ending, but I'm not promising. If we don't get the happy ending, I'll still play the happy ending bump at the end, even though you won't actually get it. So that's.
Can you hear my kids in the background?
No, I cannot. Do I want
They're
to?
so well
Do I need
disciplined.
to?
I told them absolute silence, and I have them screaming in the background.
Oh, that's cool. It's like,
That's nice.
Dad's doing a show. Let's get louder. So I'm going to go ahead and play that defense assault bump here. So take your own advice that you gave your kids for a second.
Defense assault. Facing the assault on our defense.
And we're back for New Shooting Self-Defense's Full Auto. And this is Defense Assault, the gun truth about Trump. That's right, folks. What we're going to be looking at here are exactly what does Donald Trump mean for your, I'll say your right to bear arms, your fundamental God-given, creator-given, natural-given, whatever way you want to word it. What does Donald Trump, what does Donald Trump represent? And we're going to start off, I'm going to play a clip. Now, the way that we're doing our show right now, kind of we're doing it like an hour before it's scheduled to broadcast. So Dimitri is not actually going to hear the clip that you guys are going to hear. So Dimitri's going to just have to take my word of what it means. And I'm going to go ahead and play that clip now. This is from, I believe this is the first or second debate with Hillary. And this is what he had to say about no fly, no buy. And that's what we're going to talk about first.
First of all, I agree, and a lot of people, even within my own party, want to give certain rights to people on watch lists and no-fly lists. I agree with you. When a person is on a watch list or a no-fly list, and I have the endorsement of the NRA, which I'm very proud of. These are very, very good people, and they're protecting the Second Amendment. But I think we have to look very strongly at no-fly lists and watch lists, and when people are on there, even if they shouldn't be on there, we'll help them legally, we'll help them get off. But I tend to agree with that quite strongly.
So essentially, what he said in the debate, Dimitri, and I think you remember the debate.
I do.
Was he supports the no-fly, no-buy, and that, the people are going to let this, we'll help them, we'll get them lawyers and whatever, we'll help them get off that list. It's not going to be a big deal. So, Dimitri, why don't I start with you? Why don't you give your thoughts on the President of the United States siding with no-fly, no-buy? Is that getting him off on the right foot as far as the right to bear arms?
Absolutely not. Look, if there's a no-fly list and it's crafted or created lawfully, and there is a fair way to create the list, manage the list, put people on the list, take people off the list. If there is judicial review of the list, if judges and lawyers are going back and forth deciding who's on the list, and you, who may or may not be on the list, have a say in this, and you can hire representation.
You mean
and have
that whole due process thing?
Yes, thank you. That sums it up. Due process. If there was due process for this list, in principle, I'd say, hey, maybe that's not a bad idea. But you don't have due process on this list. Some administrator, somebody can say, hey, that guy Paul, he's kind of sketchy. Maybe we should put him on this list.
You probably would be the one that turned me in.
I would, actually. I know too much.
Yeah. He does. He knows
I know
too
too much.
Yeah, that's actually why he's on the show, because he knows too much. And
yes, keep your enemies, or keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
Right. These are the terms of that agreement that he will not step on out into the public light.
But seeing how Trump didn't mention anything about due process, it is disconcerting, to say the least, that we have a list and people are on it, and a lot of people who are on that list don't know they're even on the list. So it's kind of like a 1984 scenario where, yeah, you have been chosen and you don't know you've been chosen. Congratulations.
Well, you'll know when you've been chosen when you go to buy a gun and suddenly they say, I'm sorry, sir, you cannot purchase this gun. I mean, this is... We've covered this in a previous show, the whole idea of no-fly, no-buy, and the idea of a star chamber. And that's what you have here. You have a group of official people that are getting together behind closed doors with no accountability, deciding who can do what. It's very similar to where the name starts from during the English Reformation, with the rise of the printing press. They didn't like the fact that there were people that were able to print stuff that went against the information that they wanted to be out there. So they passed these laws that you had to have a license to own a printing press. And they created star chambers to blacklist people from being able to get a printing press license. And that's essentially what's happening here. How many hundreds of thousands of people exactly are on the no-fly, no-buy? Well, they're on the no-fly list. There's hundreds of thousands. Now, you're going to tell me that there are hundreds of thousands of terrorists in the United States of America. If there are hundreds of thousands of terrorists in the United States of America, it's already too late. You're done. There's nothing you can do. They're going to cause total chaos. We're all going to die!
The one thing that gives me some comfort is that And the one thing you know categorically to be true about Donald Trump is that he rewards his allies and he punishes his enemies.
Yes, he's very good. Very good. He's really excellent at that. Yes.
And so the NRA is one of the few institutions that stood by him during the whole campaign and didn't retract their support and they raised a lot of money for him. So I suspect if the NRA is going to say, "Hey Donald, this fly no buy thing, we're not on board with it. Do you mind changing your position on it just a little bit?" I think he would take them seriously because he sees them as allies at this point. And the nice thing is about how this all unfolded is that, first of all, I consider Donald Trump a 1979 New York Democrat.
Yes, I think that's accurate. You could call him a Northern Blue Dog Democrat.
Yeah. But the good thing about how this campaign all unfolded is that the establishment Republicans disowned him. The entire Democratic Party tried to vilify him. And
they're still trying.
Yes. And so he kind of knows who his allies and who his enemies are at this point. So I suspect he's going to really start his presidency in line with a lot of the Tea Party type Republicans.
Well,
and
when I look at this, I think you're given a lot of good, pragmatic analysis, and I'm looking at it from a slightly different angle, which is, what does it say? And insofar as you can figure anything out from what politicians say, and yes, he's a president of the United States now. He's a freaking politician, folks.
But he's a pragmatist.
He is
first and foremost.
Pragmatism, but he's a pragmatist, but it reveals something fundamental about his character, that this is a man who will choose law and order, safety and security over liberty. Not a good sign. And you have in Washington, D.C., parties, Republican, Democratic Party leaders, that also have this proclivity to choose law and order, safety and security over freedom. Remember, the Department of Homeland Security, the Patriot Act, that was all passed by a Republican Congress and signed by a Republican president.
Yay, Republicans!
So we're just about done with this segment here, and when we get to the other side, well, we might talk a little bit more about this, but we might begin to dive into some recent things that Donald Trump put out, making his position on the Second Amendment and what that means a little bit more clear for we tiny people that get to be at the bad end of the government stick.
Let's face it, everybody hates politicians and most government policies.
And most libertarian shows spend their time talking about the non-aggression principle, philosophy, and who would build my roads.
But not Liberty Lampoon. Every week we lambaste politicians, public figures, policies, and print, all from a libertarian perspective.
No one is safe. Our offensive interludes, brash rhetoric, and ad hominem attacks are just what the doctor ordered.
We applaud those other shows for their good work. But at the end of the day, someone's got to call these monsters out. Look for Liberty Lampoon on your favorite podcast platform.
And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Liberty Lampoon for the most up-to-date hate speech against the state.
So you started a local business, and you're just waiting for the people to beat a path to your site. And waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Well, you can keep on waiting, or you can get results with Regal Blue Media. Get the results you want. More sales, more influence, votes, donors, whatever. Regal Blue Media offers a full range of new media and traditional media services for companies and organizations to communicate effectively and achieve their desired results. Well-connected, experienced, and highly ethical, we strive to meet your expectations and then exceed them time after time. Whatever your project, whether big or small, we have the people and the tools to serve you and make you a success. Call 717-503-1645 and schedule your free consultation today. Or visit us at regalbluemedia.com. That's regalbluemedia.com. Tired of those guns that don't shoot themselves? Do you wish you, too, had one of those guns that shoots 30 clips a second? How about a gun with a bullet button that will convert your single-shot bolt-action rifle to an automatic assault weapon? Well, have we got the gun for you? You've heard all those politicians talking about this gun, but you didn't think it was real, right? Well, it's real. It's called the Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. That's right, the Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. And now you can buy this gun for only $5 by just calling this number, 1-800-GET-A-GUN. That's 1-800-GET-A-GUN. Just give us an address and pay COD when we deliver it. The Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. Finally, an automatic assault weapon that will mow down your neighbors all by itself.
Brought to you by the makers of Invisible Passports, the indestructible passport for the savvy terrorist that wants to make sure people remember him after he's gone. This gun may not be available in any of the 50 states or in any of the countries that exist on the planet today. If you do actually call 1-800-GET-A-GUN, you might not actually get through to an operator that is actually selling the Super Duper Crap It's Real gun. This is a parody commercial intended to trigger the activities of your gun-phobic, state-worshipping friends.
To read Dick Tracy.
Not now. I think he's on television.
You can get Mattel's fabulous new Dick Tracy Snub-Nose 38 pistol and special belt holster, or the exciting Tommy Burst machine gun for $3 each. They're the only official Dick Tracy guns. And remember, you can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
Full Auto is intended for purely entertainment purposes and in relation to any actual person living or dead is purely coincidental. We are not responsible for the results that might befall you should you ever actually take our advice about anything. Full Auto is a Dipcot no-gov licensed show. This means you are free to reuse this content any way you see fit, so long as you are not a representative or advocate of government. For more information, go to Vipcot.org. And now, without further delay, here are your hosts, Dimitri and Paul.
Hey, everybody! You're listening to Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul. In this episode, Dimitri learns to say the word hello. Go ahead.
Hello?
There you go. You did it. I don't care what anybody says. You're smart. Or you have smart.
He's smart.
You put the H and the I together and you made hi. Well,
Hi.
actually, no, you made H-E-L-L-O. Whatever, man. I ruined my own joke. So, where were we? What were we talking about? I don't remember. Is this
Trump?
What's the topic of this show? Is this a fishing show? Talking about
I
fishing?
wish.
Oh, you wish it was a fishing show?
Yes.
Really? You'd rather talk about fishing than guns. Although this is
Big-
not a
Big
awesome.
mouth bass, baby.
I get that big mouth mice, or get that big mouth bass on that boat. Gut it up and eat it up. Gut it up and eat it up, baby. I'm gonna get that shirt. Wouldn't that be a great fishing shirt? Fishing t-shirt? Gut it up and eat it up, baby. You're not responding. Did I lose you?
Should I be responding to that? Really?
I don't know. I kind of think you should. So
Yeah. Let me respond by saying, let's move on.
let's move on.
Oh no, that was rude. I apologize, but let's move on.
Okay. So we're going to move on to we're going to look at Donald Trump's agenda here. And he has a call for a national right to carry. There's end gun and magazine bans. There's ending gun-free zones on military bases, enforcing the laws on the books, fix our broken mental health system. And I think it's fitting that we start with the first one, since the first one is first. The national right to carry. The right of self-defense. This is Donald Trump's words. The right of self-defense doesn't stop at the end of your driveway. That's why I have a concealed carry permit. Why tens of millions of Americans do too. That permit should be valid in all 50 states. A driver's license works in every state, so it's common sense that a concealed carry permit should also work in every state. Dimitri!
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
So you don't want everybody to conceal carry in all 50 states?
Oh, I do, but not in the way that
I'm
they're
interpreting
proposing.
it. I'm interpreting it the way I'm interpreting it.
That's nice.
You,
Yeah, as you normally do.
You're against concealed carry. Go ahead.
No, I want reciprocity. I want there to be standards that are set by each state that allows me to carry in my state, and then other states need to recognize that I have a carry permit from my state and accept it.
Isn't that what he's talking about?
No, he's creating a national carry permit, which means I'm going to go on some federal list somewhere. That disturbs me.
You know, it's for your freedom that you're on a national registry that enables everybody in the federal government to know that you have a gun.
Right. That's the part I don't like. I want states to have reciprocity. I don't want a federal carry permit. To me, that's creepy.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I'm not sure that that's not what he's talking about. That he's not talking about reciprocity, because he's using the model of the driver's license. Is there a federal driver's license? Is there?
Not to my knowledge.
No, there's state driver's license. So if I have a driver's license in PA, every state in the union recognizes that driver's license. So I think he is talking reciprocity. And what he's saying is, if you have a concealed carry permit in one state, you have it in all.
Well, I hope that's what he's getting at, because that makes me very happy, especially when I'm traveling. You know, let's say we want to go to the shore and we got to pass through half a dozen states to get to the shore, or, you know, driving cross country. You know, you just stop at some of these places and you realize they're sketchy, and you got your wife and kids with you, and you'd like to be armed, but you can't because you'll go to jail.
You're in one state and everything's cool, and as soon as you cross the border, you're like, I am now potentially a felon that could go to jail for 2 years or more and pay a fine of $1,000 or more.
For something that is completely and utterly legal where you live.
Right. But as soon as you cross the magic border, now you are a potential felon. So,
correct.
So I'm with you. I'd like to see more details about this, but if it is like what you suspect, if it is a national concealed carry license, definitely not good. If you're talking about reciprocity, that's certainly a lot better than the national registry.
Oh, if it's
now we only have a state registry, which is cool. That was sarcasm.
Yeah, but again, the smaller the scale, the better for me. So if it's at the state level, I'm cool with that. If they're saying we're going to make a federal list and you're going to be on it, and so does that mean when I go to the airport, they're going to be looking at me like, that guy might have a gun on him. Hey, let's go talk to him. Let's send the police over there to talk to him. He might be armed.
Right. And just to be clear, my position is there should be no issue of legal or not legal licensing or not licensing as far as I'm concerned. Well, we're done with this segment, and when we get
that's
to
going fast.
It always goes fast, Dimitri. You know it always goes fast. When we get to the other side, we're going to dive a little bit into end gun and magazine bans, which is part of this plan that he's outlined. And we'll see you on the other side.
If you're tuning into this broadcast, freedom is obviously important to you. But unfortunately, whatever small fraction of freedom you have left is disappearing rapidly as Leviathanic governments continue to pass law after law restricting your natural right to your person and property. You also know that freedom can't be won through the slave suggestion system known as politics. Things can seem hopeless, but freedom is more possible than you realize. Liberty Under Attack presents the Direct Action Series, your guide to finding freedom now without asking for permission. It includes over 40 hours of pure solutions presented to you in an advertisement-free format with bonus content. You can get your copy of the Direct Action Series for only $10. And, while supplies last, you'll receive an LUA Voluntarist koozie for simply supporting LUA. What are you waiting for? Visit libertyunderattack.com/freedom now to secure your copy today. Again, libertyunderattack.com/freedom now. And make sure to tune in to LUA Radio Live at 7 p.m. Central every Thursday and Sunday on the Freedom Phalanx Radio Network.
Have you ever asked yourself the question, who do you call when the police are harassing you? What if you're an activist and need help? Who do you trust enough to ask for help when your car breaks down or when you're being bullied at school or need medical help? What about a terrorist attack or a mass shooting? Well, Cell 411 is a fantastic new app that allows you to issue real-time emergency alerts to your family, neighbors, or friends, to one of them or many, in an instant with the tap of a finger. The emergency alert includes your exact GPS coordinates, and your trusted friends will get turn-by-turn directions to your location so they can come and help you in need. You'll be notified of an ETA, who's coming to help you, and when they'll arrive at your location. All this happens within seconds. Cell 411 is changing the way humans are handling emergencies all over the world. And the best thing about it is that it's completely free. It's not dependent on government or decades-old analog telephone networks to function. Whether you're a student, parent, neighborhood watcher, or activist, this app is for you. Give it a try and download it today from getcell411.com.
All right, now how you spell this? 1 and then 800 is 2 zeros, right? All right, so get. Wait a minute, how do I type letters? I don't know how to dial letters. Oh, there are little letters next to the numbers. Okay, that might be it. So G is for E, T, A, G, O. No, U, N. Right. Give me one of them guns, mow down everybody. It's gonna be great.
Thank you for calling Delta Machinery Inquiry Service.
What?
Press 1 to locate the Delta distributor nearest you, or for product information. Press 2 for technical service, or to order parts directly from Delta. Press 3 for the number of the Delta International Machinery headquarters.
Delta International Machinery
to
makes
repeat
guns?
options.
All right, let me go 1. Product service.
Thank you for calling Miss South Anesthesia Consultants. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. If this is a true medical emergency, please hang up and dial 911 or go to the nearest emergency room.
Medical
if
emergency.
If you're concerning a routine office matter, please press 0 to speak with the after-hours dispatcher.
What?
If you're a
No, I just need one of them guns.
Have questions for the doctor?
No, I need that gun that mows people. Lady, can you hear me? I need a gun that mows everybody down. I tell you what, that guy in that show told me about it. Wait, no, you disconnected me. Oh, hell, it's terrible customer service, man. I'll just go back to Smith & Wesson.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Welcome back to New Shooting Self-Defense's Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul. So what's with the Trumpster? Well, Donald Trump he released some stuff that, it's kind of putting his, I guess clarifying, that's what I'll say, clarifying what it means to defend the Second Amendment. So we talked a little bit, we started with no fly, no buy, and how that el sucketh though. And then we went to the national right to carry. And now why don't we go to end gun magazine bans? So this is what he said. He said, the government has no business dictating what types of firearms good. Oh, never mind. I got this. I'm reading this wrong. Dimitri's falling asleep. The government has no business dictating what types of firearms good, honest people are allowed to own. So a little bit down the road here, he says, the government has no business dictating. Well, I said that. Opponents of gun rights try to come up with scary-sounding phrases like assault weapons, military-style weapons, and high-capacity magazines to confuse people. What they're really talking about are popular semi-automatic rifles and standard magazines that are owned by tens of millions of Americans. Law-abiding people should be allowed to own the firearm of their choice. You know, the interesting thing that I kind of see him talking about, he talks about self-defense, the right to self-defense, but he never takes it that next step, and maybe it's a political, strategical move, strategery, that it's not just self-defense against criminals, would-be home invaders, whatever the case might be, robbers, but it's also self-defense against a potential tyrannical government. The Second Amendment, within the framework of what most people call the Republic, is intended, or they say is intended to be the final check and balance on a government out of control.
I am highly suspicious of everything at this point. After growing up in the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, everything to me is like, oh, there's a hidden agenda here. Oh, there's a hidden agenda here. Oh, there's a hidden agenda here.
Right.
Especially after the Obama administration. Oh, well, look, we're not trying to take your guns away from you. We're just going to we would like to model our gun policies after Australia. Wait, what? Does anybody know what Australia's gun policies are? Because they're very restrictive.
No guns.
But we're not going to take your guns away from you.
No guns. Well,
yeah.
You can have some guns, but you're going to have to go through a lot of paperwork, and there's very few types of guns you can actually have.
Essentially, it kills the gun culture.
Right.
Right.
So the question is, what does this tell us about Donald Trump in the near, mid, and long-term future for this 4-year Trump term?
It's encouraging for sure. His rhetoric is encouraging. but I want to see what he's actually going to implement. Because,
Yeah.
again, we're looking at a 1979 Democrat.
And yeah, right. But the 1979 now, not all 1979 Democrats were alike. Some of them were Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter in 1979 was more like the Democrats of today. But you're talking about like Tip O'Neill kind of Democrat. If you remember him, the former Speaker of the House.
That goes back.
Doesn't it?
It's like Tip O'Neill. Oh, yeah, Tip O'Neill.
Oh, yeah, Tip O'Neill. Yeah, they were, generally speaking, kind of pro-gun rights with some restrictions, but, yeah, kind of like Donald Trump. But what I'm wondering is he's making a stand in an area that not sure he has much jurisdiction over. I don't know that it's been established constitutionally. And when I say constitutionally, I mean by an arbitrary set of judges that magically decided that this is suddenly constitutional or this is magically not constitutional. That he has the jurisdiction to control the state and local gun laws. Dimitri?
Who, what now?
Oh my gosh, you didn't even listen to anything I just said.
No. I'm sure a lot of people zoned out at about that time.
I don't think so. Actually, I did a study. I had this broadcast to a room of 10,000 people, and what I found is when I was speaking, they were alert, alive, and awake, and when you were speaking, there was a lot of snoring. So, I mean, you could. I'm not saying that's scientific, but it seems pretty cut and dry.
Oh yeah, I buy that. I buy that.
You buy
Yeah.
that. You want to see the pictures and the videos? I'll send them to you. I'll
Go.
send them to you.
Hey, you should actually look at the videos of the Greek presidential guard receiving our current president in Greece today and giving him
There's some
dirty,
ugly going
dirty
on over there.
looks. And these guys are holding guns with big knives on the top. I'm like, no, don't do it.
There's some issue. What is so? Is it because Obama threw them under the bus with the Germans, or what's the deal? What's going on over there? We don't usually talk about these things, but you kind of veered into it, and it's happening.
Well, typically, if you're in the presidential guard, you're pretty nationalistic conservative. And most of the people who are nationalistic conservative over there find Western left-wingers to be intolerable. They have a Marxist prime minister at the moment, and these guys have to do their thing regardless of how they're feeling.
Well, what's
And
with
so now-
what's with the turmoil on the streets, though?
Oh, the ultra cuckoos, leftists, see Obama as an imperialist coming to check out the outer territories.
The provinces.
Yes, well put.
Emperor Obama doing his provincial tour before he
Yes,
hands
before
it
he
off to his
resigns.
successor,
Correct.
Emperor Trump.
Yeah, the lefties hate him because he's a symbol of imperialism. The right wingers hate him because he's, in their minds, a socialist weenie.
Socialist weenie. So
Yeah.
what's the difference between a socialist and a socialist weenie?
A socialist might actually have a pair. A socialist weenie might be seen riding.
Pair of dice, you mean?
Yeah.
Right.
A socialist weenie might be seen in mommy jeans riding a
With no
bicycle.
dice. So that would be
Right.
like, that's Obama.
Yeah,
Socialist.
versus
That makes sense.
versus a socialist who might be, who might like his Harley Davidson and,
So
GTO.
I won't say that Putin is a socialist, but it would be like that kind of guy. That would be a socialist. And then there'd be Obama.
Yeah.
Who'd be a socialist.
Versus, hi, Do you like my jeans? They're they're friendly on the ecology of the earth. They're made with fibers that are renewable. These are renewable fibers. My carbon footprint just went down.
Yay, Earth and carbon footprint.
Yay.
Yay.
The polar ice cap grew an inch because these jeans they're carbon friendly.
I shaved a polar bear with my mom jeans. Yeah, you did. So let's try to finish up here on the. I think we will get to happy ending in the next segment because I think we can. These are a couple of simple things. Well, one of them we might be able to spend a whole show on, but we'd have to spend some time doing more research to be able to do it thoroughly. You got ending gun-free zones on military bases. That's a duh. Why are you sending the military out with guns to kill people, and then when they're at home in their bases, suddenly you don't trust them with guns?
Well, because it's okay for them to have guns in foreign countries where they might kill their citizens, but it's not okay for them to have guns in this country because, a socialist would say, hey, we got to protect our citizens from these kooky people who would join the army.
So they make our military bases juicy targets, which is, I mean, that makes sense. If you're going to run a government, you want to make sure that the people that are enforcing your rule on others are vulnerable to attacks by the people who might be ticked off at that rule. That makes sense.
The most important thing to me about what his real stance is on firearms is going to be his Supreme Court assignments.
You won't even know whatever they've done in the past. You're really not going to know anything about them until they make their first rulings. I mean, on paper, John Roberts looked like a pretty strong conservative dude. He could have easily, I think I've said that in other shows, the problem with law in general is that it's written in language. And language, it's inherently filled with holes, I'll just say. So you could have found holes to interpret the Affordable Care Act as being unconstitutional, but he found the holes to support it. And so you're just not going to know. You're not going to know until they make their rulings. And I guess that's what
categorically that if Hillary Clinton had gotten in,
Oh.
She would have picked people who she knew were going to vote in a very specific way. Not vote, but judge in a very specific way.
Well, it's like a vote. It's basically
yeah, but now it's a kind of a 50-50 toss-up. Will he really assign conservative judges who will respect the Second Amendment and the rest of the amendments?
Don't know.
Will they be constitutionalists or will they be interpretalists? Yes.
Right, whatever that means.
Correct.
And real quick, I'll just go through a couple of these last ones here. Enforce the laws on the books. And he cites a program called Project Exile, which said that if a violent felon used a gun to commit a crime, you'll be prosecuted in federal court and go to prison for 5 years. I am absolutely not for any kind of mandatory sentencing because life doesn't work like that. There may be mitigating circumstances involved in why a gun wasn't used in this crime. So I wouldn't support something like Project Exile. But again, he's talking about enforcing the laws that already exist. And a number of these recent shootings have involved situations where if the law had been followed, these people wouldn't have had guns. And finally, and this is the one that we could spend a whole show on, but we have to do more research. Fix our broken mental health system. And he's talking about making sure that you don't allow dangerous people to get guns. And that, my friend, is a giant fatto loophole. Don't want to go too far down that road. I think I said once, and I don't know if you agree with me, but I said I would rather be killed by a psychopath that has a gun that maybe most people would agree, shouldn't have a gun, then to empower the government to define what a psychopath is. That's it? Dead air?
My view's a little different.
Well, we got 2 minutes, so
yeah, I'm going to come off sounding like a big jerky malarkey here.
You are.
But back in the old days, when there was somebody who was deemed insane, there was no issue with them getting a gun because they were in a little place of Happyville. It was called insane asylums. And there were good reasons for those places to exist because there were a lot of sociopaths who today we allow to walk among us. I'm sorry. Those people, if you are a danger to society, if you receive a handgun, you shouldn't be walking around in society. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a good point, but I seriously doubt that they're going to limit the definition of who is too dangerous to have a gun by who should be not on the public streets. But certainly that would be a much better standard than I believe that you will see going forward. That might be, again, it's one hand is over here, looks like it's giving you more liberty. Meanwhile, the other hand is over there, reaching around and taking way more liberty than the other hand that's giving you some. And that's kind of where I'm at with what Donald Trump is. I sure hope to be proven wrong, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm right, but my final assessment is Donald Trump is not overall going to be favorable for your gun rights unless you fit into a safe category, and I'm not sure what his safe category will be just yet.
Yeah. Again, I'm cynical and skeptical of all people in power at this point. I just don't believe anything anybody says anymore.
And on that note, on that Debbie Downer note, on the other side, we are going to do happy ending. Even cops need saved. That's what we're going to talk about on the other side of the break. Happy ending. We did it, Dimitri. We got it all done in time for happy ending.
And I didn't swear once. You didn't need to edit this at all.
The Freedom Fiends now have a free app for your Android phone, tablet, phablet, or other Chrome robot turd, available now from the Google Play Store, Amazon, and FreedomFiends.com. Lovingly handcrafted by head hamster Michael W. Dean, the artisanal Freedom Fiends radio app allows you to listen live, keep up with the podcast, chat directly with other fiends, get discounts on bigger buttons, brainwash yourself with a 24/7 random episode, and so much more. You know the Freedom Fiends is the best libertarian radio show in the world, but when the fiends aren't live, you can use the app to listen to LRN.FM from anywhere. The Freedom Fiends radio app is like having a virtual libertarian re-education camp in your pocket. It's your gateway to the exclusive high-demand group that is the Freedom Fiends. Install the Freedom Fiends radio Android app today. It's free, and of course, it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Tell 2 friends. Review it on Google Play and Amazon. Prepare for the inevitable death of terrestrial radio, and get ready for LibPair with the Freedom Fiends radio app for Android. Worms.
Ross Ulbricht was sentenced to life in prison for operating the Silk Road. But that's not the end of the story. Ross is trying to get out, but he needs your help. The free Rossathon is happening Sunday, December 4th from 2 to 10 p.m. Eastern, featuring Roger Ver, Cody Wilson, Doug Casey, Tom Woods, and dozens of equally seditious speakers. Go to freeross.org right now and register for this free event. It's a fundraiser for Ross's appeal, so prepare to be inspired. freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
You know, and I'm like, I swear to God, I'll never forgive that bitch for as long as I live.
With Trip Q.
What a dick. You always got to get ahead of me.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to be one up in your ass, man.
And Zach Odom.
Nah, dude, today's been a rough day, man. I'm an asshole.
Where we believe in karma.
I like to say I deserved a daughter. I deserve
Right, yes.
You know?
Intellectual pop culture analysis.
You got a bunch of people talking country nowadays, and it's all pop music as far as I'm concerned.
I call it cunt pop.
Tune in on Wednesdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. Eastern to 11. You can listen to us on jrevradio.com, Raz Radio Live, and you can search us through the TuneIn app. This is Post Politics saying, turn on, tune in, rebel.
You are watching a demonstration of the most authentic cap pistol in the world. It has exclusive fanning action and shoots safe shooting shells with greeny stickum caps. The gun and hip-slung Mattel holster are specially made for a fast draw. All of Mattel's shooting shell fanners and holsters carry the true stamp of the Old West. And every boy will walk tall when he wears a holster and pistol with a Mattel brand. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
So you started a local business, and you're just waiting for the people to beat a path to your site. And waiting, and waiting, and waiting. Well, you can keep on waiting, or you can get results with Regal Blue Media. Get the results you want. More sales, more influence, votes, donors, whatever. Regal Blue Media offers a full range of new media and traditional media services for companies and organizations to communicate effectively and achieve their desired results. Well-connected, experienced, and highly ethical, we strive to meet your expectations and then exceed them time after time. Whatever your project, whether big or small, we have the people and the tools to serve you and make you a success. Call 717-503-1645 and schedule your free consultation today. Or visit us at regalbluemedia.com. That's regalbluemedia.com. Welcome back to New Shooting Self-Defenses, Full Auto with Dimitri and Paul. I am Paul, and Dimitri is trying to find a horned owl right now. So we are going to get right into our segment, which is going to be Happy Ending. Oh, that's nice. You can hear Dimitri getting his microphone and bumping things, and oh boy, you've committed an audio hate crime. So we're gonna go. We're. I tell you what, we're just gonna play. We're gonna play the happy ending bump now, and when the bump is done, we expect Dimitri to be a mature young man. That's what we expect. Happy ending. Remember, folks, use full protection. That's right, folks. Use, not protection like Dimitri always said. No, use full protection. That's what we're talking about. This isn't the state. This is just a friendly reminder. This is what you need to do if you want to be healthy. If we want to be healthy and happy ending, you use full protection. Full auto, full protection. It's all one piece, sir. This is the show you signed up to do. You signed up for the full, not just the protection. So this is the story, Even Cops Need Saved. This is from BizPac Review. A Florida sheriff's deputy had an armed citizen to thank for saving him from a motorist who was assaulting him. The Lee County deputy pursued the driver on Interstate 75 exit into Estero. We all know where that's at. When the driver did not comply, taking off in the car at speeds reaching over 100 miles an hour, WZBN reported. You're not jumping in. That's nice. Both drivers stopped on an exit ramp, and the suspect then began attacking the deputy, according to witnesses. I saw the deputy and the suspects out of their cars with both doors wide open, and they were some time of altercation. Nicole Lambrosoni, who saw the scene unfold, told WZVN. He kept beating him up and beating him up. Shanta Holditch, another witness, said. She described how the suspect pulled the deputy out of his patrol car, throw him to the ground, and punching him in all different directions. Dude, he reached into the deputy's car and started pounding on him. According to Deputy First Class Dean Bardes, who called for help as he was being attacked, the suspect was armed. A passing motorist with a concealed weapons license. Notice you got to have that freedom license. Then exited his vehicle and warned the suspect he would shoot him if he didn't stop beating the deputy. When the suspect did not comply, the passerby shot him 3 times. I heard like 3 shots. He fell down on top of the police officer. A witness who would only give his last name, Smith, told WZVN. After a moment, the police officer rolled him back over, got on his mic, then rolled over back on the ground beside the guy. So there you go, folks. A concealed carrier saving the day. Deputy was getting clocked, and the concealed carrier saved the day. Come on. What do you think? Did I pick a good happy ending? What do you mean?
When I hear, oh, there was a high-speed pursuit, it's almost like, well, they almost use that like buzzwords, like assault rifle.
High-speed pursuit.
Speed pursuit. Oh, my God.
Ending. Don't be crushing on the happy ending, man. I will cut you.
Just stuff doesn't add up. How did the guy run up to the cop car without the cop opening the door and getting out and then starting to punch him and, taking him down? What were the real circumstances that unfolded here? I'm not saying that it wasn't a clean shoot. I don't know. It just all doesn't sound right to me. Well, you need to shoot somebody that's beating somebody up? You're going to use deadly force? That doesn't add up either for me. Sorry.
The guy was armed. They said
With
the guy
what?
was armed.
With what?
I don't know. A carrot or a gun. Could have been either.
Yeah. Well, if he had a gun on him and he wanted to kill the cop, he would have shot the cop. But instead, he was in a fist fight with a cop, and the cop was losing, so somebody decided to execute him on behalf of the state. Thank you.
Could be. I don't know.
I don't know, dude. This just doesn't sound right to me.
It is a little, I'm going to say spotty at best, so we're not sure. So this happy ending may have been a little bit of uncertain. There's so many metaphors I could have made there, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go down that road because it's a clean show. But you guys, you can just do the math in your head. On the other side, we're going to go ahead and wrap this show up.
Did I ruin it for you? Sorry.
And we're back. Actually, we were supposed to get the last show break, and I played something else. So,
but I think there's hope. How much hope?
A new hope.
Yeah.
That was a Star Wars reference. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
she sneezed.
excuse me.
Did you? Oh my gosh, she sneezed like a horse. That's
Oh, dude, I've been
incredible.
holding it.
Wow.
Well, have you seen this nose, dude? It's
Oh,
the size of
Folks,
a horse.
the man has a nose. The man has a nose. We all have noses. Well, most of us have noses. And, he has a nose.
Are you anti-nosist?
I won't say you have a Streisand quality nose, but it's kind of in that
Apolline.
direction.
Apolline.
Oh,
Look that word up. Apolline.
Apolline. I've heard of Aqualine, but not Apolline. I'm not
Apolline.
sure about that.
It's Latin.
And my assessment of Donald is one hand is going to go off your liberty while the other hand is it's almost to me like they're setting up some sort of false hope. Let your guard down a little, and they're going to give you more liberty over here, the national concealed carry thing, and lessen some of the restrictions on magazines, whatever they can do. But at the same hand, you've got the no fly, no buy, which scare the bejesus out of everyone. And you got that giant, humongous mental health loophole that it's almost to me like they're setting it up so that the folks that comply will get more freedoms, and they're going to have mechanisms to target the folks that don't comply. That's my take. And on that note, Dimitri, do you have any last words for us?
Kalinichta.
Kalinichta, which means?
Good night.
Good night. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. Do you have any idea for what we're going to do next week?
We got to talk about some guns.
We're going to talk about some guns.
And some new kinds of ammo that's out there that is just off the hook.
Didn't we just talk about new ammo? You have more ammo to talk about?
No, more. We talked about new calibers.
So some of the things coming up on the show, we got some new ammo to talk about. We got possibly some new guns. And I definitely want to get to the black codes. I want to talk about that some more. And whatever current events
The
are
old
going
black
on.
codes or the new black codes?
Well, we'll talk about the old and then the new. And the new
yay.
are still there. All right. And on that note, we bid you adieu. And I thank you very much for entering into this full auto zone with us. It's a gun-filled zone.
Good night, folks.
Everybody. Kalinito.